Danny Kanell in the news again. Sometimes when I read things from him, this is one of those times, James, when I really wish I wasn't a Christian and I could really, really just blast, just blast it. This guy, one of his tweets says, not sure, Danny Kanell, former Florida State quarterback, continual, current, always, forever will be Alabama and SEC hater, said, coming off Nick Saban. Now, Nick Saban was not throwing shade at UCF. He simply said self-proclaiming a national championship is different than winning one and earning one on the field. He didn't say they shouldn't. He just said they're different, and they are. I mean, it's just that's reality. Self-proclaimed and winning one is different. And everyone who says anything about pre-BCS, James, all national championships for the most part were self-claimed before the BCS. Even our national championship, that was Miami could have avoided playing Alabama in 1992. They didn't have to play Alabama. There was no way to force them. They were arrogant and thought they would beat us, so they played us, and it was 1 versus 2. So we were voted the unanimous by the But if you go back, and I will say AP, and there's always been, James, up until the BCS, there's been legitimate multiple champions. So anything self-proclaimed, literally before, even with the AP poll. Even with the AP poll, there were still other polls out there that gave titles. Now, college football, if I understand, help me if I'm wrong, James, but college football legitimately has one national champion that they recognize. And that was BCS, now college football playoffs. So to say that Alabama didn't earn it, Danny Kanell, he says, not sure how you can say you earned a national title when you didn't win your conference and were gifted an invitation to the college football playoffs. But yes, congrats on being the best of those invited 4 teams. Now, how stupid is that? That's like saying that the only way to win the wild card in the Super Bowl that wins the Super Bowl really shouldn't be a champion because they got invited to the playoffs. They but they didn't win their conference championship. I mean, think about that. You get a wild card, you get a runner-up. You don't have to win you don't have to win your conference championship to get to the playoffs. Okay? You don't have to. What about basketball? I mean, if the only way to win a basketball was the conference championship, you go way down from the 68 teams that make it in to the dance if you count the play-in game. I mean, how many times have we heard the selection committees, especially for basketball, use the term body of work? Yeah, and that's what I look at. Here's my reply to Danny Kanell after that. With your logic, how can a wild card or a second-place team be a Super Bowl champ? Or I didn't have enough letters. Or how can someone other than a conference champion be the NCAA champion based on his logic? Goal of each college team, get to the playoffs. And the goal of the playoffs, get the best 4 teams. Not a conference champion or an undefeated team. UCF is a middle-of-the-pack SEC team. One game doesn't make a champion, alluding to them beating Auburn. And then guess haters will hate. I mean, it's so sad, but he's moving off to being irrelevant because of what's going on with his career, and he has to say things like this to stay relevant. I mean, that's the reality of it. But it's so stupid. Now, if he wants to gripe on the current college football playoff system, I can agree with him there. UCF has a legitimate beef. But that's not Alabama. That's not saying just because UCF has a legitimate beef about not even being considered for the top 4 teams doesn't mean that Alabama was gifted anything and didn't earn their national championship. Alabama earned their championship on the field. The only way that champions are recognized in the NCAA now through the college football playoff. The goal is to get invited, and once you get invited, it's to win. And the goal of the commission and the committee is to get the best 4 teams. And if Alabama wasn't one of the best 4 teams, I'm wondering what Georgia and Clemson think today. You know, but he didn't have an issue last year when Ohio State got in. Ohio State just didn't win it. Okay? Let's just be real. Ohio State didn't win it. So